Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Reminder that our title sponsor is these people. Very special. Attaboy, Rick. Able Auctions. You can contact them, find out what they're all about at ableauctions.ca. We're getting criticized for mentioning a lot of Toronto artists before we got to Michael Bublé. What about Bryan Adams? We've had a couple of suggestions there.
He did a Grey Cup a few years back, and it was in Toronto, I think.
See, but those people complaining are the same people that believe the halftime show at the
What's
Grey
wrong
Cup
with Bryan Adams?
has to be Canadian.
Yeah, I agree
No,
with
it doesn't.
that. You know, one of the best
doesn't.
CFL
Yes,
halftime. We got to get to John here. But one of the best CFL Grey Cup acts, I thought, Imagine Dragons, not Canadian, from Vegas, as a matter of fact. Another one that I loved going way back was Lenny Kravitz.
Black Eyed Peas was decent.
Black Eyed Peas was
stop
right here
right
at
there.
BC Place.
They weren't good. They weren't good at the Super Bowl
The
either.
Super Bowl, they were horrible. I thought they were better at
Big
the Grey Cup.
stars. Big stars. Yeah.
It's going to be Patrick Hernandez.
Well, I mean, you know, if they want to pack them in.
Yeah.
Glenn and Richmond. Good one.
You could sell out 2 nights at BC Place, I think.
Joined now by NHL analyst, co-host of the Bob McCown podcast, John Shannon. How are you, sir?
Good. Grey Cup in Calgary was Keith Urban, guys. Hardly a lower mainland guy.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah,
That's true.
Australian country star, as a matter of fact, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't have to be Canadian. Lightning over the Leafs 5-3. What was different from Game 1 for the Leafs, which they won 5-0, John?
Tampa power play. Simple.
Yep.
Tampa power play was better. I mean, this, with the way that the referees have been instructed to call the games, this is going to be a special teams playoffs. And you're going to be able to look down in the box score every night and say, okay, who won the game and who had the power play goals and who did something special on with the man advantage, or the case in point in Edmonton last night. Not only did they have power play goals, but they had shorthanded goals. Mm-hmm. This is going to be a 5-on-4 Stanley Cup year, I think, because of the way they're calling it. Tampa was brutal on the power play in Game 1. They were effective in Game 2. Remember, Toronto had a shorthanded goal in Game 1.
Yeah.
So it's all about special teams and momentum. I thought the Maple Leafs' intensity last night was really strong for the first 30 minutes, but then the veterans for Tampa came through and were really solid and did an outstanding job. 3
power play goals for the Lightning. Hey, John, the Penguins beat the Rangers in triple overtime. I don't know how you feel about this. We're going a couple of nights back here, but I don't know how you feel about this. But maybe it's just me. But why is it that lengthy overtime games now are so much more entertaining than they used to be? I've got you.
I think coaches coach differently now, and I think that the 3-on-3 game has changed a little and influenced a little bit how teams approach the 5-on-5 overtime. Let's face it, Donnie, and you've been around long enough to know that long overtime games in playoffs, particularly through games 4, 5, 6, 7, have an unbelievable impact on the rest of the series and the following series. And I think coaches now, and I think players understand that, hey, if we don't get this done quick, it's going to have an impact on us. I guarantee you, both the Rangers and Penguins are not going to play near as well in Game 2 as they did in Game 1. And if the Rangers lose again, they'll point back to, gosh, we played 2 games in one night, the first night, and it's really had an impact. That's something that's just a pure and utter fact.
Yep.
John, the big story in Vancouver, no question about it. Jim Rutherford not exactly giving Boudreau a vote of confidence yesterday. They do want him back, but no extension. Your thoughts?
Well, I never thought they offered him an extension in the first place. And I think we said on this show for the last 2 weeks that it was going to be a very interesting time because Bruce had an option too. And basically, Jim has told Bruce, and he's got 26 days to do it. By the way, happy Cinco de Mayo. Yeah. Bruce has 26 days to find somewhere else to work if he wants. and then he's back. That's really, in my mind, exactly what's going to happen. I'm not suggesting there are jobs out there for Bruce, but this is the window that Bruce negotiated. This is the window that Bruce wanted when he said, "Okay, I'll come, but you may not like me, I may not like you, so let's put this window." What surprised me, guys, completely, was that Jim was so forthcoming about the date.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't normally see that from anybody. But this tells you, I think, that the approach that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin have, not just for Bruce Boudreau, but for this franchise and the plan that they are going to put in place. There may not be as many leaks out of the Canuck organization, but the information that Rutherford wants out there, it will come from Rutherford. That's what's going to happen.
Why would he come back when the boss kind of just ripped him in a press conference publicly? If Bruce doesn't come back, would that be the number one reason why?
No, that's an interesting question. I think that we may find out after June 1st if he's not here what the true story is.
Yeah.
But the other thing that was cryptic in the discussion at the press conference when Jim said there's a couple of things we need him to work on. Mm-hmm. Oh, really? This team went, what was it, 31-15 with Bruce behind the bench?
Yeah, 32, 15, and 10.
Okay. So I'm not sure that any coach could have done what Bruce did with this organization. I mean, this was they didn't play in Vancouver. They played in Lourdes for a year. This was miracle work, man. Mm-hmm. This was miracle work. And the assumption of, getting the extension, I think people made just because it was such a feel-good year. But Jimmy's got a plan. Jimmy's always had a plan. It goes to the front office. It goes to the scouting. It goes to everything. And he's not going to deviate from the plan. He is not going to deviate, whether it's because of Bruce Boudreau and his popularity or his record. It's going to be the way Jim Rutherford wants things. And by the way, we shouldn't be surprised. That's the way he ran Carolina, and that's the way he ran Pittsburgh. And, guys, that's the reason he left Pittsburgh, because there were people starting to meddle with him, and he said, nope, I'm doing it my way or I'm walking away. And they let him walk away.
And so he comes to Vancouver because no meddling here ever. Hey, listen,
John. But I think he negotiated that.
Well, you hope so.
I think he leveraged that and said, guys, if I'm coming, I got to do it my way.
Yep.
Because that Francesco would have been thrilled with Boudreau. Would have been thrilled with Bruce.
Big time.
Definitely the chanting and the energy in the building, all of that. He sold tickets.
He revived the organization for the 4 months.
Yeah. Yep. John, he comes back and he knows that, and this might happen privately anyway, that Jim Rutherford and Patrick Allvin aren't happy with the zone exits, with the structure, the dependency on Thatcher Demko. Now the public knows about it as well. Is that a healthy situation for a head coach?
You better throw in analytics in there too. I think that there's probably something to do with analytics and the use of analytics by this organization now. That I'm not sure Bruce is on the same level. It's not healthy, but here's the one thing I will say about Jim Rutherford. I do trust Jim Rutherford, and Jim Rutherford, if he says, listen, we have a full season, we have an exclusive window, we may start talking to Bruce in the middle of the year about a long-term deal. Yeah. I believe him.
Yeah. Okay.
I really do. I think that. We're not used to such a pragmatic approach, such a blunt approach from somebody who's running a hockey operations group than what Jimmy's had. And as Jimmy has gotten older and more mature and more confident in winning 3 Stanley Cups, he's going to have a plan and he's going to stick with it. Mm-hmm. And that's what we're seeing in Vancouver.
He's not the biggest guy in the world, but, man, he sure commands a room. He's just very well spoken. There's no doubt who's in charge. Much like yourself. Much like yourself.
I don't know. By the way, I just want to wish the Penticton V's good luck.
Mm-hmm. Hey, hold it a second. The Nanaimo Clippers, we're a Vancouver island.
Where's John from, though? right?
I spent a lot of time at the old Penticton Memorial Arena long before the Vs. They were the Broncos.
Beautiful rink. It's a beautiful rink there in Penticton.
Freddie's got that team kicking. Jackson Newendike's playing well. Lane and goal are pretty good. I'm saying V's in 5, and that means Nanaimo's going to lose a game in the postseason for the first time.
There you go. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Look at these texts coming in from Nanaimo, John. Oh, my goodness.
John's from Oliver.
I get it. I'm not stupid, Don. I get it, but there are people going to be pissed off in Nanaimo.
Go, V's, go. Go, V's, go. Go, V's, go.
That's oh, boy.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
You two can battle next week. Hey, John, thanks for this. Appreciate it.
Happy Cinco de Mayo.